Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk today about the U.S. Marines in World War II, and this is for Memorial Day, particularly for the U.S. Marines that didn't make it back. But the main source that I'm going to with this is the book called To America by Stephen Ambrose, and Stephen Ambrose also wrote Band of Brothers and Citizen Soldiers. And what he talked about with the U.S. Marines and what they did in World War II was just amazing. And I'm going to really focus on the Battle of Iwo Jima right here. And I know most people know the Battle of Iwo Jima, the raising of the flag, and but there was more to it than that, okay? Let me explain. Okay, in Iwo Jima, there's black sand, and the black sand's almost like quicksand. You can't get good solid ground on that. If you step on black sand, it's like it's sinking you. And then when the U.S. Marines landed on Iwo Jima, they had to run through that black sand while braving Japanese fire, and then going into caves to flush out the enemy. And those caves were very well dug. The Japanese engineers did a good job digging those caves. So those caves were very well dug and very well concealed. Okay, for U.S. Marines to do something like that, that shows you how amazing soldiers that they had to be. Okay? And what Japan did was horrible, but what's done is done. They're a U.S. ally now. And, I watch Japanese animation. I watch regular Japanese films. Eat a lot of Japanese candy. Have nothing against Japan. Eat a lot of traditional Japanese food. But what he goes on in his book to say is that that's why the U.S. Marines had to be better soldiers than the Japanese, because they had to do that, and they won the battle. I mean, they had to do things like that. Plus, they won the U.S. Marines won the battle, and the naval guns and the aerial bombardment had lasted for months, and it delivered minimal damage because the Japanese engineers dug the cave so well. So for the U.S. Marines to go in there and flush out most of the enemy the way that they did, that shows you how efficient and how tough and how brave U.S. Marines in World War II were. And I firmly believe U.S. Marines are still like that they're still that brave, that tough, and that efficient. So we need to remember that. And to just briefly note on Guadalcanal, the Japanese Navy won a key battle near Guadalcanal while the land battle was going on. So the U.S. and the Australian Navy were providing, at first, bombardment, aerial, and naval support, particularly guns from their ships. But when the Japanese Navy surprised, attacked them, and sunk a lot of key ships, the U.S. Navy had to pull back. And so the U.S. Marines were there without a lot of aid. They had to cut back on their rations and to be able to survive. But they still ended up winning the ground battle. And they braved the infections of dysentery and malaria. And on Guadalcanal, dysentery and malaria were very, very common. Stephen Ambrose's son, Hugh Ambrose, did a good TV miniseries called The Pacific, and The Pacific touches on that, and I highly recommend that miniseries if anybody wants to know more about the Pacific Theater or World War II. So, God bless the U.S. Marines. They did a lot of amazing things in World War II and still do a lot of amazing things. So, anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Take care. God bless them. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.